everybody. Welcome to tonight's Project Athena. Now, I don't know if any of you have been following on Twitter, but rumor has it that I'm not going to have to do as much as I normally do, which means, chat, I'm sorry to tell you, you're not going to be able to yell at me quite as much as you normally do. This is kind of a double-edged sword. I know a lot of you show up to do just that, but I'm here to tell you that go fuck yourselves. But beyond that, what we're going to do first is let's go talk to the Olympians, but be quiet because there's shenanigans afoot. I don't know what I'm saying. Go ahead, Allison.
Hey everybody, it's Allison. I play Caitlin Jane O'Callahan, aviatrix extraordinaire, princess of the skies, America's flying sweetheart. And she's back this week with still no idea what's happened in the last 48 hours. What the hell? That's all I've been thinking about for like 7 straight days. Give me something here, Greg, come on.
I have nothing. Everything I have, I am going to give tonight, and I am going to give it through my surrogate, Strider. I'm going to give all of my love to Strider. As we were talking about our German heritage, there is no other way for me to show what I'm going to give it all of my love. All of it is coming to you. Lauren, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm just spiffy. As always, just happy to be here, happy to get a chance to yell at Greg, because I look forward to it every week. No, I'll yell at you anyway. Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm That Salted Ginger on Twitter. Tonight I am playing Miss Isabella Maria Zabat's esoteric antiquarian bookstore on the beautiful Lower East Side of Manhattan, and I just cannot wait to see what's in store for the Olympians tonight. Not worried at all. Just excited.
You seem just fit to burst, and that's the best thing. Speaking about fit to burst, let's go over to the man, the myth, the solo cup. Steven, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing? I appreciate that. Looking forward this evening, deal with Strider. I'm sure it's going to be the old classic Kenny Rogers song. You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. Got to know when to walk away, and you got to know when to run. So I am definitely looking forward to this.
Right, you got to know when to take a shower. That seems that's the fallback here for Project
Right.
Athena. When do you hit the showers? Is it before the game? Is it after the game? You're hitting the showers at some point. All right, buddy. So, yep, it looks like Dwight's ready. But we're gonna skip over Strider right now. We're gonna go straight over to Lindy. Lindy, how's Greta feeling about tonight?
Oh, well, hi. I know Lauren's spiffy, but I'm spiffied, and I'm Lindy. And
It's sort of
Greta,
your thing, but I mean,
yeah, it's my thing. I still love you, Lauren. And Greta, how is she feeling at this exact moment? Well, if it's anywhere within the past couple hours of where we last saw her, she's probably feeling not a lot of pain because she's doped up on some morphine, but pretty defeated mentally. She's exhausted and she's probably gonna have a little heart-to-heart with Elijah, maybe, which is odd for her because she doesn't normally do that with anyone ever, because what are emotions? They are weaknesses, but she has them occasionally too. Everyone has their weaknesses. Even Greta. It's cool. It's fine.
Okay. Sure, emotions, Greta. All right, we can use this. Right, so let's go over to the man of the hour, the man who is going to be conducting several, let's just call them outings, if you will. We've had psychology on a plane. I guess this is Elijah in the City, Sex in the Sawyer. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's one of those things. And so we're going to see, maybe at least for a bit of this episode, life through the eyes of Elijah Sawyer. You might not learn any more about Elijah, but I think you might learn a little bit more about how Elijah sees his companions. And so with that, I'm going to ask Strider how he's doing tonight and what does he have in store for us.
Hey there, little Twitch chat, let me whisper in your ear. Apparently this is Pulp ASMR. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, chat? Apparently, when folks are disheveled and emotionally distraught, that's when Elijah Sawyer swoops in. So I'm looking forward to this. I had a couple ideas and a couple of notes here or there, but like, I wanted it to feel organic. He's a stream of consciousness character, so this is gonna be improv and ad-libbed, but let's do it. Let's get started. I'm game.
Awesome. Well, everything is it. Like I said, OBS has been OBS-y all day. The Windows update has not done me any favors with my limited tech knowledge, tech applications anyway. So I'm scrambling here a bit to make sure everything is perfect for tonight. But as we set the stage, we need to know where we're coming from. So if we're exiting the stage, what was left on the boards? And so last week we had a calm episode with the rest of the Olympians, and we had a very action-packed episode for a couple of the Olympians. Now, normally I think that maybe Chad or the audience would say, oh, absolutely, Greta was in the middle of a firefight, a lot of action there. You'd be wrong if you thought that was the only action that went down last week. Because if you didn't see the bathroom shower action, I suggest you go back on the YouTubes or on the VOD, check that out, have a smoke, and then come back and join us and see exactly what it is that had transpired last week. But joking aside, we had a calmer episode for a lot of the other Olympians as Dwight went to confession. He was gifted with the knowledge that the Catholic Church is apparently watching him, has him listed as one of their soldiers. And with this list, they gave him what Father James called a shield in the form of a wooden hewn cross on a necklace. With the aforementioned Sabella Ives and Cato Callahan, let's just say we had a rendezvous. And I, a man of few words, could never adequately describe what happened in said rendezvous, so once again I direct you to the past, just a few days ago to the VOD. It is something to see. Now, beyond all that, a couple of the NPCs are not around. Phil Castillo, who was with the group at Ives Esoteric and Antiquarian Bookstore, is off campus. We don't know exactly where the big man went, but we'll have to see exactly if he shows up in this episode or not, or how that plays out. We did have Greta go to Ballantine Ale, where she was confronted with her friends, the Nazis, and Gabriel Ballantine realized that perhaps she wasn't as loyal to the Reich as was once believed. And with that knowledge came two things: a realization that she could perhaps not be trusted, and wow, there's a huge goddamn needle in my stomach. And with both of those realizations, Greta was immediately attacked by these Nazi zombies that seem to be inhabiting the workers at Ballantine Ale. After sieging herself in one of the offices and calling none other than Elijah Sawyer called none other than Mr. John Dillinger to show up and help him rescue, free, aid Greta. And as they were driving there, they did just that, but Greta was holding her own. It wasn't until the very end when the Nazi sniper, one Gruber, was maimed with a final shot that severed his dominant hand from his body. We are going to pick up the action there in Ballantine Ale, the smoldering wreck of what used to be this fine brewhouse establishment over in Newark, New Jersey. And as we dive back into the world of 1933, there's only one thing you can really do if you're watching the Olympians. It's what I do every week. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Olympians of all ages, that's reach over your left shoulder, reach over your right shoulder, pull those straps tight, and buckle the fuck up, because here we go. Greta, Elijah, you are in Ballantine Ale.
Greg, feel free to tell us when the scene changes and when we're dealing with our other Olympians.
Absolutely, I shall.
Linda, you said Greta's clothes were all torn up. Well,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna...
they're between the zombies and the explosions.
Mm,
Not there, really.
He's going to get up out of the passenger seat of the car, unbutton his little suit jacket, since he is always dressed immaculately. He'll offer it out to you before you go scavenging to kind of cover up a bit. Not gonna complain if you don't take it. The disheveled look does suit you, Greta.
Oh, it might help with some of the blood loss. Danke. She's gonna just slip it on. She's not really thinking about it, but she's just kind of like slips it on. She probably doesn't button it up at all. Just puts it on.
It's not a super loose fit.
Okay.
It's actually pretty near your size. Elijah's an extremely skinny,
Okay.
small-framed gentleman.
Would you help me grab some of this to put in the car? She just starts handing you a couple things of ale and some random bottles.
Oh, does this have something to do with Well, no. I know you. And he starts throwing them in the car. This isn't prohibition, is it?
Nein, they are putting something in the air they are selling. I wish to know what it is. Also, I am the new bioserums as I am out, so these other bottles will suffice in the creation of new ones.
It looks like a goddamn bomb went off in this place.
Well, when under the correct circumstances, the bottle of ether that I did blow up in the zombies, it would have about the approximate force of a small grenade, yeah?
Oh, a bomb named Dr. Greta.
Danke for coming.
Oh, here I thought I was just expecting. Not hello, what is it? Donka, back at you then.
Just kind of like a little smirk. There are, once we grab these things, I wish to believe we should set this building on fire on our way out, and there is something I need to grab from the front before we leave.
Dillinger will turn to you at that point at the mention of maybe torching the entire Ballantine Ale facility, and he says, I don't think we have that kind of time.
Ugh.
And the
Fine.
sounds of sirens are evident, as apparently at least first responders are on their way.
Greta's just gonna chuck one of the bottles of ether towards probably some of the still smoldering office, and just go, sudden I need to get something from the front. Quickly.
Well, hurry up, you heard him. And, choice. Choice of words there, Mr. Dillinger. I thought you had time for everything.
I do. You don't.
Alright, Greta will
Yeah.
hobble as fast as she can. But she's not that hobbly. She's at half health. She'll just go round to the front real quick, grab papers, just shove them in her bag, close it, smash another bottle of ether.
You know, I'm gonna need a little bit of context about what's going on here.
Do you have a light?
Always. For
It's-
my favorite doctor.
I'm just gonna light something and just throw it back in where the bottle of smashed ether is, close the door. Now we can go.
Talk about the Hippocratical Oath, huh?
Oh, they do not make you take that in Germany. I believe that is an American thing.
So the sirens are growing louder.
Yeah,
If Dillinger will play chauffeur for us, then yeah, we'll
yeah.
peace out, man.
Hop in the car.
He drives out of the lot. Greta, you will notice at this time that the cab that you took here with Wally in it is not there. And as you leave, Strider, Elijah would notice that Dillinger is taking an opposite route. Instead of going back the way he came directly towards Manhattan, he seems to be kind of heading further south, as if avoiding what would be the oncoming first responders, police,
Seems
fire department.
wise, and I trust him implicitly. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So-
cool with Dillinger.
This is only Pulp Cthulhu. Everything, yeah. I mean, what could Dillinger possibly
I
do?
trust Greg's NPCs, you guys. He's never given us any reason not to.
Right. See, Strider, everybody. Right. And by the way, chat, any rules I have on smooching, you all know that is utter bullshit. And that I not only encourage smooching, I encourage much, much more than that. So we will see. Don't play that game with me. We will see what we can do
Do
here.
not bluff him.
Yeah. Right.
Dad,
Okay,
never
so
bluff this man.
Let's go
So,
there.
as you guys are driving off, what we're going to do then is we are going to stay with Greta and Elijah in this time, this daytime, right after the events of Valentine Ale. But later on that night, later on that evening, another rendezvous will take place. And as we fast forward in time, following only Elijah in this quest, we see Elijah and Kate. And where do we see the two of you?
I think they first meet up at the bookstore. Elijah
I think that's right.
getting back with Greta. Greta probably wearing some kind of spiffy brand new attire. She
Yeah,
has
and a
another
hat.
Overdressed evening gown and a hat.
For this moment, we only
And a
have
lot
two
of dancing.
Olympians. We have two Olympians present, as Greta is either already entered or has not entered yet, as this is a moment solely between Elijah and Kate. So Greta is not present for this exchange.
Elijah's kind of collapsed over the front cashier area. He's exhausted after today.
Kate comes down the stairs, looking freshly showered, and sees Elijah. Well, Mr. Sawyer, I didn't know that you were here.
Well, Mrs. Captain.
Mrs.
have.
Captain. I think you mean Ms. You know, it is. I'm actually really glad to see you, Elijah. There's something that I need to do, and it strikes me that perhaps you should join me.
My only question then, Captain, is who are you and what have you done with my actual captain?
Well, this is for pilots. So, tell you what, why don't you just head out to Long Island with me? We got something we got to take care of.
If you insist, I'm at your beck and call.
All right, well, let's go.
The
Kate-
scene will transition to
Yep.
Long
And
Island.
as we fast forward that evening, as dusk has begun, it's settled and night has fallen on the tri-state area. You do, in fact, you just a little bit outside of Hempstead, Long Island, you find a cemetery.
And as the car pulls up, Kate, probably driving a little bit faster than is comfortable for most people, but kind of skids into across the gravel in front of the entrance to the cemetery. Well, all right, we're here. Hop out. We don't have much time. It's going to be dark soon.
Elijah is trying not to betray any signs of nervousness or apprehension as he climbs out of the car.
Can I get a check on that, please?
What do you need?
I don't know.
You can
I think she's rolling psychology against me.
If you want to do that, sure, absolutely. If you want to kind of catch his full mood, Elijah plays everything pretty close to the vest, so...
I know. And I ain't got nothing in psychology, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Just so that there's like a dice roll tonight. Oh! Well, even if I blew the luck, you'd still win it because we tied, right?
Yeah, he would.
All right.
Okay. So there's a moment where the two of you kind of stare at one another, just kind of kind of weighing and measuring, the kind that goes with co-workers and not so much companions, as you are at the entrance to this cemetery.
Kate's gaze only returned by her own eyes out of his reflective sunglasses.
Yeah. Well, look, Mr. Sawyer, I know places like this aren't real comfortable for probably much of anyone, unless you're an undertaker, I suppose. But I just felt like this was real important, and I thought, given that you fly as well, that perhaps, perhaps you might think so too. All right, come on, let's go.
You never been on a cemetery date before, Katie?
And Kate's just a little flustered by that. No, I don't go on many dates, Mr. Sawyer, but certainly not to a cemetery.
Oh, you're too busy for love, is that it?
Yeah, that's it, I suppose. Kate is kind of leading the way along gravel paths, back through the older part of the cemetery. Closer, if you're paying attention, you can see the dates getting closer and closer to the present time on the stones as we pass.
Elijah's much more comfortable now that there's no hangars or actual planes around. Would you mind telling me what this place is? I'm a Louisiana boy.
Well, this is Pine Lawn Cemetery, Mr. Sawyer, and it is at least this portion of it that I'm trying to find. If I could, usually I'm really good at finding my way around, but there's a portion that has recently been set aside for members of the military. I thought you and I might drop in on an old friend.
I'm not objecting. Just curious as to why you chose me to tag along.
And at that point, the two of them come into one of these newer areas with graves that are marked by flags and other things of that nature. Now, where is it? We'll be looking for something that's relatively recent, Mr. Sawyer. Let me know if you see anything.
You have a name?
Both of you roll spot hiddens.
Success.
Hard success.
So as the pilot's eyes scan the stones, and as Elijah Sawyer says, "Do you have a name?" Elijah's eyes dance across the raised stones of the cemetery, and he sees Franklin J. Watson.
He won't say anything, just a little elbow nod of the head, and he'll start walking over there.
Well, there it is. And Kate follows, kind of close. As she gets to the foot of the plot, which is still mounded from, well, of course, I guess it wouldn't be. There would be no body, would there? It's just a memorial. She stops at the foot and takes a breath. And her head is bowed, but it doesn't take much to tell that she's really struggling to hold back tears here.
If this isn't being shielded by Kate, as far as this is not trying to be repressed, then Elijah would see this without a roll.
Yeah.
You, made a memorial for the boy.
And still silence.
That's a good thing, Captain. You know, lots of times in this field, people get forgotten. when you do things like us, people die.
And at that, Kate looks up at you, and there are and she just collapses into your arms and is weeping uncontrollably.
Yeah, one hand wraps around Kate, the other takes the glasses off and folds them and tucks them into his pocket. The other arm returns up around your other shoulder. Not fair, the way folks are wrangled into this, is it? You seem like a good kid.
Elijah, this was my fault. This was all my fault. He was my responsibility. I left him behind. I didn't just leave him. I forgot about him. I didn't even remember that he was there. He was my responsibility. He was my crew. And now he's gone.
This has all been out of all of our hands. Nothing that's been going on's been right. Nothing that's been going on's any of our fault. You're not the one that threw these Olympians together. If there's anyone to be frustrated with, it's Jack.
That's not how it works, Sawyer. That's not how it works. I was in charge. I was the leader, and he was my crew. And I forgot him, like he wasn't even there, like he was nobody. You know, he had a family. He had people who loved him. I didn't put this here. They did.
He lets them have a quiet moment. He lets there be silence amongst them.
And as
his eyes off the grave.
Right, and as this moment meets with Kate and Elijah, a camera, if there was one here in 1933, would pan from the two Olympians back to the gravestone of Franklin Watson, and as it notes his name and the date of his birth and the date of his death, presumed, it also has a quote that said, or says, "An angel while alive and an angel while dead." And as we pull away from there, and while this moment will continue, we are going to fast forward to the following day as Elijah has yet another moment with one of the Olympians. And as he is our thread, as he is our tailor in this A Story of Tales, let us see who he meets next. And I believe it is one Dwight Burke.
Early in the morning outside of the city limits in the woods. Little wooden targets set up, golf balls, bottles of booze, and of course, the firearms. When you're in the war, soldier boy, what kind of infantryman were you? Browning, Springfield?
I was a Springfield. That's all snipers used in the war.
Nah, I figured you were. Was a 5-round magazine, bolt action, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
It was a bolt action. We would put a scopes on it, but we'd have to get in trees and we would look down and whatever would be, you know? What's in front of you is what you shot. So, let me show you. You know, I'm assuming I'm showing you how to shoot rifles and all that. Is that what we're here for?
I know my way around to Springfield, soldier boy, but if you insist.
Just take it down range. Make sure you stay steady. You know, he's like, you want to try the Grand? He kind of throws him the Grand. You want to try that? That's a prototype.
Oh boy, do I feel special. Elijah's wearing sporty little cargo shorts and a collared polo.
The way kind of like laughs, like he knows he's being like completely like sarcastic. Let me ask you, you know, Dwight takes a drink and said, let me ask you something. In the war, we would capture people. We wouldn't, you know, the English, the French, the Americans, they'd kill them. You know, they wouldn't interrogate prisoners, and they wouldn't do much with them. But with my unit, we would go out and we'd get special targets. You know, officers, you know, we would have to do certain things. So I would get prisoners drunk, and I'd hand them smokes, and I'd make them feel real comfortable with what they're doing. And then once I got what I needed from them, I wouldn't even have to ask a question. They just open right up. I'd kill them. Just kidding.
Well, I dare say, I thought you and I was about to have a lot more in common.
We have a lot in common, my friend. You know, I always wonder what you're doing here. Every time I look at you, I say, why is he here? Especially now that Jack's gone.
You know, Soldier Boy, I've been asking myself that same question, and I think I've come upon a couple of answers. He's going to pretend like he knows what he's doing. He will assume the correct stance. He's going to put the butt of the gun up to his shoulder. And he's going to get an extreme success on a firearm rifle check, actually. Rolling a 2.
Wow. Dwight's kind of like...
So as the...
You.
Yeah, as this shot goes off, it strikes the target of Elijah's choosing, and as Dwight looks at Elijah, he realizes Elijah is not even aiming down the sights. He's looking up at Dwight as he's talking and pulling the trigger.
Dwight drinks another. You know, he's Dwight's in drink mode right now. He's actually relaxed, and he's like, well, you know, me and you, we're just, you know, I can pretty much get everybody else. You know, Kate, Christ, she's a bagel when she's on the goddamn front page of the paper. And Sabella, she's planted here, and well, Greta, you know, that's circumstances, I guess. But me and you, we're the nobodies and the wanderers here. And I just can't quite figure out what you're doing. You know, where you're coming and where you're going, man.
Now, ulterior motives behind this trip to the shooting range, then, huh?
No, not really.
Katie, she thinks she's a hero, don't she? She's
Katie's perceived as a hero, and she always will be. She is the leader of the team, and we will follow her. She has a good head, and people listen to her, and that's what we need right now.
If you'll allow me to be sentimental, let lower my walls for a bit. The first time I met Katie, I thought she was a bull-headed, cocky bitch. Sabella, on the other hand, that's all I have to say about her. Sabella, on the other hand, she feels a lot.
She does.
Greta,
a mystery to me.
a mystery I intend to solve. Dwight, Greta, on the other hand, she's not that bad.
Greta's a German. You know, and she's been trustworthy. And she's done nothing but help me, so I will, you know, trust her until such notion.
No, well, I trust the little crowd too.
Let me ask you something. What do you think about all this shit? I mean, I've seen some crazy shit, man. But here we are. You know, we keep running into these things, and I fucking sure can't explain them. You know, Dwight drinks more. You know, he feels a lot better than he did 2 days ago.
I once saw a man with no fingers asphyxiating. He was still trying to use his stumps to claw his own throat. But the shit we've seen since I've been around you people, it's... there's nothing to describe it.
You're right. But now, we need to eradicate this shit, man. It's gotta go.
Well, that answers one question, why you're still here. It's a sense of duty then, is it, Soldier Boy?
It is. It is, man. I've been For years, I've done a lot of wrong to a lot of people without much thought. But as recently, not gonna lie to you, I've had some real issues with it. I've thought about a lot of things in the past, and it was hard to bear. But as of late here recently, I've gotten a new curve on things, and I'm definitely going to see this through, and I'm going to eradicate anything that gets in our way if I have my say in it. And Dwight kind of takes that. Dwight kind of takes two shots, without looking too, kind of looking at him. I'll shoot my I'll shoot off there. Extreme.
Damn.
Two extremes.
So in an effort
Just
to
looking at him.
right, in an effort to show Elijah that was some interesting shooting that you did there before, Dwight shoots and then moves to another target without looking, shoots again, and both targets are dead center mass hit.
I'm glad we don't roll like this when we actually need to or anything.
Listen, Strider, or listen, Elijah, excuse me. I want to trust you. I really do. But when you start all this other stuff with people, which I get, that's what you have to do. It makes me question things sometimes.
I've been questioning it too. When we first started, there's nothing more I would have wanted than to see Jack dead. And after it's all said and done, I still might.
Well, that's your bear between him. Jack is, I've changed my attitude about Jack a little bit. At first I was questioning him too, but now we need allies. We're literally on the run. Everywhere we go, we cause mayhem. We're on the run constantly.
He smiles and shakes his head. Listen to you. We cause mayhem, we're on the run. Sounds like you would have made up your mind. If I told you to trust me, you would.
I would, yes. You, and even if I didn't trust you, you're the lesser of two evils. How's that? When you look at this Dietrich, and he's got 1,000 of him running around, like shit, he could be right. He could be in the trees looking at us right now. As far as we know, yeah. Everywhere we go, is destruction. We have to change. We have to get out of this city. That's my first. I've been saying that now for a couple days. We got to go. This place does not. New York City is not good for us at the moment.
I completely agree with you, and I'll start packing. But have you ever thought, soldier boy, God, he knows the difference between doing good for good's sake and doing good for one's own sake. You feel your call of duty because you're supposed to do what's right, or because you haven't been doing what's right. Because there's a big difference, and I think he'll know that.
And with that revelation, as Dwight is
shakes his head,
contemplating Elijah's words about duty to God and duty to man and the actions of both, time will speed up as the sun slips through the New York sky, but we will return to this coupling. But Elijah has one last person in which he needs to interact, and that person is Sabella Ives.
Sabella, you probably heard over the last 30 hours that Elijah went out and bought a bunch of stuff for Greta, and then him and Kate disappeared shortly after your secret rendezvous. He's gone during the day with Dwight, and he shows up quite late in the evening, 9:30, to the bookstore, bumps into you.
You'd find her in the back room looking a little more frazzled than usual. Hair actually kind of askew for once. There's a frantic look in her eye. At first she's just sitting there completely still, looking like she's concentrating very hard on something. And when you poke your head in, She starts back. She looks scared. Hi. Do you need something?
No, I didn't interrupt your private time, did I?
You did, but it wasn't a particularly pleasant one. So that's all right. Can I help you?
Yeah, let's get going.
Going where?
Nah, this place is kind of claustrophobic. Wouldn't you say?
I have been here for pretty much 48 hours straight. Sure, let's go somewhere.
His hair is a little disheveled too. Not to the same extent, but for him,
I reach
looks
out
like-
instinctively to fix it, and then I remember that you hate when I touch you, and so I don't.
He appreciates that. You can see it with a little smirk on his face. I won't take up too much of your time. Isabella, I have a little errand I need to run. I think you should come with me.
Okay.
If you will go with him, he has procured some kind of ride, maybe even a taxi. And you're gonna go to Brooklyn, to the Green Garden.
Okay. As she's leaving, she just kind of looks around. It looks like she's looking for anyone, but it seems pretty empty in here, and she looks disappointed. But she'll get in the cab with you.
He's pretty quiet the entire way over there. He runs his fingers through his hair a couple of times. He looks out the window.
Do you want me to fix that? I have gloves on. I can fix it. It's very simple.
Vix, what now?
Your hair, it's just a mess.
He pulls out a little makeup compact and looks in the mirror. No, dear God.
Oh, you can see it. Yeah, maybe one the other way, though.
He'll close it shut and put it back inside his jacket pocket and lean back into the seat. Doesn't matter. We're not making I'm not trying to make any good first impressions tonight.
Okay, we can just sit here in awkward silence if you like.
He'll sit there in awkward silence until you guys show up at
Great.
the restaurant.
Yep, me
20,
too.
23 minutes later, you pull up in front of the Green Garden. And it is, as described before, a building that is longer than it is wide, but it is impeccably decorated. You are met with a host in tails. He enters in, and as soon as he sees Elijah, Mr. Lecht, right this way. And he takes you in, and there is a corner booth that is provided for Daryl Lecht and guest as you are placed inside. There are several tables that are occupied at this time of the evening. Only maybe 2 or 3 vacant, unoccupied tables, but it seems that they each have a small card on them as if they are vacant for a reason. Other than that,
Are there any breadsticks on the table, Greg?
just the little ones.
Elijah, you did not tell me I needed to dress up, or that I needed to not call you Elijah. Both would have been appreciated.
You don't need to dress up, and you can call me whatever the hell you want to. He's going to sit down, no offering of letting the lady sit first or pulling out a chair for you. He deflates again onto his hands on his cheek on the table.
Or is this a grift? What are we doing? Do I need a code name? I have one. It's the same one that I use on the Akron, so it's probably not very good, but I remember it.
Yeah, code names. Yeah, those are fun.
Are you all right?
I'm fine. Just I figured these folks want to kill Phil and all. I'm sure you might have spied Dillinger when you walked in. I figured
No.
that I wanted you seen with me. I don't want them thinking you're some kind of acceptable casualty.
Well, I wasn't really worried about that, but now I am.
Well, now you don't gotta be.
Elijah, I don't tend to worry for myself much.
He takes his glasses off and just kind of tosses them on the table.
Oh, thank goodness. Those were not working for you, in my opinion.
Well, if you don't like them, maybe I should put them back on.
Why are you like that to me?
As wine's brought over for the two of us and poured into little glasses, he kind of pouts. He leans over on his other hand, starts poking at the glass until, almost like a cat, it's eventually knocked off the table and spills onto the floor.
Several waiters run up. Without question, they sweep up the glass, they mop up the wine, and it is replaced immediately.
Not much of a booze man myself. What were you saying, Sabella?
You never know when I talk to you for very long. So, we're here because you're worried I might get shot? Is that why we're here?
More or less. Yeah.
But you're not worried that Phil's gonna get shot?
I've known Phil a long time. I don't want to talk too much about him.
Well, he does not need his ego fed, surely, but he is not here. I'm worried that he might get shot.
And, yeah, he probably will. I'd say so. Look, we don't have to do this. We don't have to do the whole talking and all this. They've seen you here. That's what's important. You're not going to get shot. You're safe.
And at this point, Sabella, you would see around the place that there are waiters, even other guests that are noting both you and Elijah. And even though Elijah is not returning any of these almost imperceptible nods, that there is a measure of respect from busboy to owner in this establishment, and that your presence, your carriage, your visage is noted. And this organization knows you to be a member of the company of Derelict. And though you don't need to touch anybody's hand to read this, you do feel safe.
Elijah, I really thought that I had found my people when I met all of you, but every day that passes, I am more and more uncertain of that fact.
And here I thought we were making a little family.
I did too.
And with that, we pull away from the Green Garden as we go back in time. And we reintroduce something that happened over 24 hours prior, as Greta and Elijah have just left Ballantine Ale. They are back in Manhattan. And where are they?
Post getting cleaned up and making sure Greta doesn't need the hospital immediately. Maybe after
I'm a doctor, it's fine.
maybe after even a morphine shot or two. He will make a comment somewhere along the lines of, you know, in this line of work, we go through a lot of them outfits. You should have a collection.
Apparently, this is all very new to me.
We'll get you a whole rainbow. How about that?
She's been pretty quiet this whole time and kind of just sifting through some pretty wrinkled papers written all in German, just kind of in her lap in the back of the car, probably during this drive. That would be appreciated. This is very different for me. I'm not used to having friends, but I consider you a friend.
I'm a friend, eh? You know, Greta, you and I are two peas in the pod, aren't we? I'd say the same thing. I known everyone else here a little bit longer than you, but there's something special about you, ain't there?
Well, I'm very good with medical knowledge and scientific application.
Oh, shut your face, you know what I mean.
Just you're gonna see maybe a little bit of color that's not the blood just smeared all over her. I have no idea what you were talking about. She's gonna kind of just crumble the papers back into a ball and shove them back into her purse. Which is very uncharacteristic for Greta.
Yeah, clothes will be tried on, presumably.
Yeah.
Elijah, Yeah, sorry, what?
I was going to say there is the shop of Estelle, who is the older woman that provided clothes for you in your last outing to the Green Garden. She seemed to have many nice things, and she already knows Greta's size, if you wanted to go there.
That is certainly where we are. He gives the similar speech when he bursts in through the front door about ordering a whole rainbow of colors for the lady.
So with that, dresses are brought out in both racks. Knowing the size and being a seamstress and a shop owner, Estelle knows exactly what to bring out. She doesn't bring anything that's she can take it in. Everything is, while it is off the rack, as she did not know you were coming in, it is prepared for Taylor as she brings in all of the colors of the rainbow. Roy G. Biv is represented in all of its glory as she goes to the front knowing the type of customers that she has. She locks the door. She flips the sign, the homemade open-close sign to closed. And within about 15-20 minutes, champagne is brought in from somewhere nearby. And while the clothes are brought out, she leaves the two of you to see which ones you like.
Burhammer and Chat, be careful about calling me daddy.
9. Is it 9? That is 9.
Elijah will take dresses off the rack. He'll hold them up and look to you in the dress, then he'll look in the mirror and hold them up to himself. Look up and down.
What is your color?
Depends on the party.
Blau would also look decent.
Don't mean the party, I mean who it is I'm gonna be talking to. Plus,
you are good at talking.
Plus who I'm gonna be that night, a blonde, a brunette. I think I'm more of a summer, personally, but you're cold. You're an autumn or a winter, I'd say.
That has been used to describe my personality before.
Well, that's because folks just ain't getting to know the real you. I mean, there's gotta be some excitable little girl down there inside you somewhere, right? Some woman that likes to be pampered and try on dresses. And hell, even I got one of them.
She's gonna probably just sit. She's probably just sitting after this ordeal with maybe the glass of champagne while he holds up the dresses, and she's gonna maybe have a little bit of a smile. I get excited about certain things.
No, brains and freezers.
How did you know?
If I had more preparation time, perhaps a Brain K. That was a terrible joke. That was supposed to sound like bouquet out of brains.
Ah,
Didn't pan out that well.
that is American humor. Yes, yeah. This is very funny.
Okay, so if Greta is sitting, how close is Elijah to Greta at this moment?
He's trying on dresses. Not trying on, but holding it in front of him, like right in front of him. Nod to the employees helping here and hold plopping a chair right across from her, face to face. Now, while I have you here, there was something I wanted to discuss with you. You got into quite a bit of trouble since I saw you last. What was that, 12 hours?
Oh, something like that. The elevator. Yeah, it's falling. I was prepared.
You're,
Fraulein O'Callahan did not know what to do in the case of the falling elevator. It's just...
Oh, no.
I tried to give her instruction and she did not even listen.
I'm sure
She
your
could have
elevator...
broken both her legs and
couldn't
I
have
would
saved
not have been able
lives.
to carry her out. It's just...
Yeah, since I have you here, though, I did my own bit of shenanigans in that 12 hours. Did what digging I can. You realize that is not much time. So, not as...
enough time for some things to happen.
Certainly. He'll reach into his little jacket pocket and pull out the folder he has on Greta von Kraus.
Oh.
And he's going to hand you a manila envelope that has your name printed on the front.
Was ist das?
12 hours of research. Take a look.
She'll flip it open. Really worriedly.
He has that same huge grin on his face the entire time. He is unfaltering and unblinking.
Because, you know, like 24 hours ago, she wasn't sure if he was gonna, like, murder her or whatever, so she was like, okay, this is okay. Oh, danger senses went back up.
So does you said you stood up? Greta stands up when she gets the envelope?
Yeah, she'd probably stand up and then just sit back down. Like, stand up,
Okay.
open it, and sit.
Okay, so as you stand up for a moment, the two of you are eye to eye as she drops back down. And as you read this file, as you briefly peruse it, you can read both the German and the English translations that have apparently been placed there by Caduceus. But what you glean from this is there's a lot of fact in here, a lot of your earlier research, kind of your backstory that you have as far as where you went to school. But what you don't necessarily understand, that there are notes that conflict with actual events. It says that you went rogue and that your bioserums were not approved by the Reich, and that you are in league with Joseph Dietrich, and that Dietrich himself has been named a person of suspect inside the Third Reich.
You know me, I've always been a bit of a bookworm. I was, some late night reading I was able to dig up. Again, only 12 hours. If I had more time, I'm sure I could find out even more about you.
I thought Tom Sawyer was more to your taste. This is very interesting.
Mr. Sawyer left an impression on me for sure, but, you left one as well. Not often people know intimate details about me or my life.
I'm sure.
So figured better become better acquainted with you as well.
Makes
It
sense.
seems that Reich of yours is not all too happy.
That would explain some things.
And the other Olympians, they might not be all too happy either if they found out about that.
Is Elijah standing or sitting?
He's sitting across from you.
Sitting across, okay, she's kind of just gonna kind of set the file to the side, kind of just rub her temples, and what do you want to know? Ask anything.
Oh, well, let's see. I think that about covers it all. Not wanted in Germany, not wanted in America.
That does seem to be the case.
Quite a dangerous position you find yourself in.
I would agree. Thankfully, I still have some blood in my body.
And for now, my suggestion, first and foremost, would be the immediate destruction of that file folder. I'm a paranoid sort myself.
I will consider it. This is a good suggestion. She's gonna look you like dead in the eyes and get very, very serious. More serious than you normally see her. I told you I would only kill you in self-defense, and I meant it. So, this means I trust you. And so I will tell you that I was in negotiations to come to Herr Chuck. And whatever this thing he is doing. Then an accident happened at my workplace, and I was in a coma for 6 months. During that 6 months, the Reich took over Germany.
And that there's where you get that, and he'll point to your arm.
She's gonna kind of like self-consciously try to cover it with her other arm. Yeah, that is experiment gone wrong from my last friend.
He will stand up and kind of fix his dress, literal, his garb, not his dress yet. He will fix his suit jacket, reach down, push the envelope a little closer to you. That one's yours now. Keep talking. I'm listening. And he's gonna start looking through the dress rack again. You know, winter. There's a cold pride about that, a sense of dignity. You shouldn't have to hide yourself. He starts filling his arms up with low-hanging dresses or dresses with just little straps on them.
I do not quite know how it is here, but in Germany, as a woman with exceptional talent, especially in the medical field, it is good to be prideful. It gets you work. It allows research to be done. But when I was put on a plane and shipped to work for the Reich, without much choice, I found myself in Borneo, speaking with Herr Dietrich. The science I saw them working on is very advanced. It is mind-boggling. I've never seen anything like it. The bioengineering they have accomplished is surprising. It intrigued me. And so when I arrived, and I found out the Olympians, as they were introduced to me, were in the same place I was. I had signed papers already, declaring my loyalty to them. But the odds did not seem in your favor at the time. There was a lot of guns, and I was convicted. The science was very tantalizing. And so I spoke with Herr Dietrich about... She's kind of just gonna trail off for a second and close her eyes and take a deep breath. Being a double agent. I was to infiltrate the Olympians and not as much as I could.
I was assuming so. I think the others are assuming so also.
Well, that I learned a little. Some of you are more talkative than others.
Here, try this one on. This one's A lot of arm.
Mm.
Both sides.
Just gonna kind of scowl at it a little bit.
And as Greta gets up and reaches over, and they are within the ending of 16 candles close, we pull back and flash forward to the cemetery as we go back to the grave of one Franklin Watson.
Kate gathers herself, takes a few deep breaths, and then she reaches down to her flight suit. There's a set of gold wings that are pinned there that she had specially made just for herself. And you see her unpin them from her suit and walk over to the headstone and just place them on the top. And then, just like she does with Calamity Jane, she kisses her hand and slaps it on the side of the stone. And she walks back over towards you, and before you know it, she's put her arm through yours and is walking you away, just sort of down a random path in the cemetery.
As you guys walk, he gives it a minute. Yeah, that's not fair. Franklin is... he's innocent in all this. He's not one of us, let's say. If you catch my meaning. There's something different about us.
Something different? Why, what do you mean, Mr. Sawyer?
I've been hearing voices. Miss, Captain. And you know what I mean, not the usual voices.
You've been hearing voices? Well, that sounds like something you need to be talking to the doctor about. Not me.
Yeah, I did. It's reminiscent of our trip post-Borneo, if you catch my drift. I never was a fan of the color purple anyway.
Nor I, Mr. Sawyer. I'm not a fan at all.
So you've been hearing it too, this talk of, children, I think I heard.
And she doesn't respond to that.
Yeah, it's got me thinking. I've always been pretty sure who I was. Heck, if I didn't like who I was, I'd just change it. Be whoever I wanted to be.
Look, Mr. Sawyer, I know you're not a pilot, all right? You don't have to make some kind of confession to me. Look, I just couldn't come here by myself, and I'm not sure I could have come here with any of the others either. I guess I just knew that you were the only one that I could trust to see me like this.
You want to put on a strong face for the rest of the crew.
I guess you could say it that way.
Oh, well, that only makes sense. They all look up to you, admire you, look for you to wisdom and guidance. I don't do none of that, so...
And she laughs at that and kind of scuffs her boots along the gravel pathway for a moment. And then... I cannot believe I'm about to say this, but... You ever been in love, Mr. Sawyer?
And with that, we pull away from the cemetery as we flash forward in time to the following day, back into the woods in the makeshift shooting range, as we draw back in on the two boys as they are playing with their toys.
Dwight's probably further. It's work because Dwight is now probably drunk at this point. You know, he's feeling pretty carefree. He's just shooting away, drunk. Let's see how I roll drunk. Yep, still good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Elijah's a little off now. He's
Are you actually drinking?
no, not at all. And the more you drink, you can see a little less jovialness in his voice. The
Really?
furrow of his brow. You know, Dwight, let's cut the bullshit and the pretenses. You asked me why I'm here. I don't want to be here, and if I had my way, I wouldn't be here. In fact, first time I get my chance, I'm gonna try to leave. But
Psychology check. Can I do that?
Yep.
Not to interrupt you. And you're.
no, please.
Yeah, not to interrupt you. I fail it completely.
He seems
Okay,
legit.
Dwight believes him. Yeah, completely.
And I'm gonna take the first chance I get to get out of here, but with the things that have been going on, I'm not sure if I can get out of here. With the kind of work I do with the mafia and whatnot.
Dwight kind of shakes his head at that, like he completely disapproves of him being with the mafia. You know, like he doesn't say it, but you can see it in his eyes. He just like he doesn't understand it. Like a friend would be like, dude, what are you doing?
Dwight, I think you'd understand better than anybody having to do things you don't want to do. And every time you try to get out, you get roped back in. Well, I have a feeling this might be one of those situations.
Are they making you do things you don't want to do?
This
Are
isn't
you
about...
doing things that you want to do?
I've not done anything I've wanted to do for years, Mr. Burke. I'm not the man I want to be, I'm the man I have to be.
Well, let me tell you, friend. I wouldn't suggest you leaving this. Because, as you've seen now, everywhere we go, they follow us. They know where we're at. We have to stick together. You know, Dwight takes another shot. And he keeps trying to offer, like, peer pressure, Strider to take one. He, like, slides a shot to him. Just take one, man.
He will
Let me see you drink one.
poke it and knock it off of the little stump or the back of the truck, whatever you guys are using, and knock it onto the ground. Watch the alcohol seep away.
Yeah, Dwight's like almost like.
Look, I know what everyone thinks about me.
How did you get mixed up with these people?
That is neither here nor there. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about gods now. Soldier Boy, Olympians. And I know what y'all think. Y'all think I'm a snake, don't you?
Yeah, Dwight kind of cracks his neck at that, and he's like, I don't think you're a snake. I think you're self-serving.
Now, one in the same. And I think that might be our strongest advantage.
How so?
Well, come on. The black powder's going off. The sounds of gunfire gets the testosterone running. I want to talk about tactics. You know, manly things.
Okay. What kind of text do you want to talk about?
No one's
Dwight
gonna
takes another drink.
No one's gonna question if Elijah Sawyer betrays all of his fellow Olympians, his friends, no one's gonna question if he runs back to Louisiana with his tail between his legs.
If that's where you're from.
Ah, of course it is. Now, I think we should use that to our advantage. Who knows how long it's gonna be before Dietrich shows up, a Lancaster. The Kadoosh bags, who knows? At some point, even with my charm and amazing marksmanship abilities in your eyes and your amazing marksmanship abilities, eventually we're gonna get in over our heads.
We're there.
Now, if I get drugged back into this after I disappear, which I'm assuming I will be, no one's gonna question if Elijah Sawyer's gonna try to make a bargain, make a deal. Now, this is for your ears, soldier boy.
Okay.
I'm sure you know people forge bonds quicker when they go through battle and traumatizing experiences together, events. I'm not about to sell any one of y'all out to anybody, even if it means saving my own skin. But nobody knows that. Nobody's expecting that. I think we need a little ace up our sleeves.
Go on.
Well, it's really quite that simple. If we're ever in over our heads, I will cry wolf, or I'll jump ship, so to speak. I just want someone amongst the Olympians, presumably the one most likely to shoot me, to know I would never, ever do that. I'd never do such a thing.
Dwight kind of leans forward and grabs him. I'll shoot you. I promise. I'm fucking with you.
That's why we're having this conversation.
And Dwight will get serious with him. Listen. If you prove to me, and you have, that's why I'm here with you now. I don't bond with people. If I'm here with you right now, and I can trust you completely, which I don't, but you're probably about one of the most people I trust out of the other three. I trust them as well. I trust you 5 people more than I trust more than probably anybody in the world anymore. Whatever it takes, whatever I have to do, I won't let you go, and I won't fail you. But if you show anything where any opposite of what I say or I think that you do, we'll have problems. But other than that,
good to know I have a safety net.
You have a safety net. I promise you.
Endeavor to provide the same service for you. So, if one of them Dietrich shows up and I tell him I admire the German, whatever the hell it is, the zeitgeist, the nationalism.
Fuck them. Fuck the Huns.
Oh, Jesus.
They get in front of us. We know what to do. Or I know what to do. I'm more worried about the crazy shit that I can't explain. Men have never scared me. This shit scares me.
Elijah walks over, picks up the bottle of whiskey you've been drinking, pops the top, and just starts pouring it all out into the dirt.
Dwight pulls out the flask. Take a shot.
And with that, we cut away from the shooting range as we go back to the Green Garden that following evening. As
Thank you to the waiter as she gives me another glass of wine.
Right. As the police are pulling up. And Elijah and Sabella are across the table from one another.
So did we do your fun plan? Are we all wrapped up here in our fun, friendly family jaunt?
The food's not all that bad. If you want to stick around, but you certainly don't have to. You can go anytime.
Sure, I like spaghetti and meatballs.
He'll raise an eyebrow.
I blink.
At least you're a woman that knows what likes.
I am often confused about it.
Is there something you want to confide in me?
In you?
Oh.
In you, Elijah Sawyer. Do I want to confide in you? God, that wine is very good.
I think people drink too much.
I do. I've been drinking ever since Grandpa died. It's alright though. Just sometimes.
And family's important then.
Yes, the family you make is important. I just cannot figure out who that is anymore.
You can never pull as a double agent, you know that?
I do. I am very bad at lying, but I can charm the pants off anyone.
I doubt that, but
Anyone. You would be surprised.
I'm not gonna take the bait, the bluff. The pants of everyone here in the whole restaurant will be eviscerated. They'll be gone, shredded.
Why
So
don't you
what?
like me?
What?
You don't like me. Why don't you like me?
I don't dislike you.
And that wasn't the question. I make you uncomfortable. I make most people uncomfortable, as I've come to find out. I make Greta uncomfortable. I would guess I make Dwight uncomfortable. I make Katie feel a lot of feelings. But you...
Instant psychology check. I want to glean as much from that as I can.
Yay!
I'm gonna use a crit to glean as much.
Oh,
as
you son of a bitch!
Do it!
I figure out, Greg.
Okay,
Because
so
it's not combative, I will allow it.
as the crit is able to, and because this is, of course, the silver-tongued devil Elijah Sawyer, and one Sabella Ives has been drinking this very good wine, that comment is different in many ways than the ones that she mentioned for the prior Olympians, not because of the words that are being used, but the emotion behind the words. Emotion that Elijah would read as, Lauren?
That sound that I just made.
Or if we were going to put a word to that sound, it would be...
Don't you boss me around.
Carnal lust.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Is it lust? Is it love? Is it somewhere in between? Is it... Just give me a one-word emotion. Is it confusion? Is it certainty?
If you need me to step away for a little while, I can just...
It's... conflict.
Do you remember the first thing I ever said to you when we were getting on this Graf Zeppelin?
Yes.
If you want to make this look authentic, Sabella, just look at me and pretend I'm Mrs. O'Callahan.
Well, she is very nifty.
Nifty.
That's the word I chose.
And here you are, confiding in Elijah Sawyer.
I am talking at you. Yes. I would say that to anyone who asked me. I would say that to stupid Joseph Dietrich if he asked me. I would say, yes, she is very nifty. And I
He's
would
going
not be
to
lying.
reach
What?
forward with one hand and kind of push the wine to the side. Before you go back and grab it again, he's going to pull the finger on his glove. Pull the glove off and set it across the table in
Your
front of
hands are very pale. You should take those off more.
you. I suppose I am uncomfortable around you. But if you're confiding in me, it's only fair to do the same, right?
Only if you want to, Elijah.
He's unblinking. He looks into your eyes and keeps his hand in front of you.
Take off my gloves. I've been having a little performance issue recently, but
Happens to everyone.
Not usually to me. But I will be handling that shortly. And I grab his hand.
And with that, we cut back to the shop of 24 hours plus prior to the bridal shop of Estelle. It's currently being occupied only by Greta, only by Elijah Sawyer, as they are standing very close together. And they have a final moment to say some things to one another. What would be said between these two who have grown closer?
Well, Elijah just handed her a dress. Very strappy. And so she's going to kind of fling it over his shoulder like he's a clothes rack and just start stripping. Und I was a double agent. I learned as much as I could, which was not very much, admittedly, because we were always getting shot at. I did not anticipate on you.
His eyes pop back up. No one can anticipate upon me.
I'm certain. She's gonna just keep continuing. I think we are very similar in many ways. We are. Yeah. And I decided I've been very conflicted over the past few weeks. And I decided after the whole elevator incident to check in and see how things are faring on the Deutschland side, since I had heard absolutely nothing since I left. And things were not good.
And that's where the zombies come in, is it?
Well, that was only after I stuck a psychic in with a very large needle full of something that would melt his brain. Because he asked if I would be willing to kill every one of the Olympians. And I couldn't. I'm not good at words, you know this. I couldn't say no, I'm not you. So, things were going to go downhill very quickly, and I struck him, and his brains melted and exploded. Actually, that was what was all over my face initially. And then she's gonna kind of realize, oh yeah, the dress, and kind of just snatch it from his shoulder. And so, then the zombies, and that is, then I caught you.
How illuminating.
Honestly, if anyone else had answered the phone, I would have hung up. and dealt with it.
Quite a few things you've been saying. You're bringing light to the situation, I feel. Greta, I'm glad I was able to weasel my way into that cold German heart of yours. That is what I do best, and that is why I'm an Olympian.
It is not an easy feat. I've only had one Freund before, and he is dead.
Well, let's hope the same thing doesn't happen.
That would be bad. I would not like it if you were deceased.
I don't think I'd like it if you were deceased either, so... let's try, if we can, to stay alive. I think the best way to stay alive is by keeping lips shut tight and not telling anyone absolutely anything.
And this is why I had not said anything at all prior to anyone.
And if we don't, then I believe, hypothetically, we can keep on living.
And I also want you to know, if you want to leave the Olympians and go back to Oklahoma, I would have your back.
I have a safety net then. That's the only reason I'm here. I want to impress upon everyone that we're on the same page. It's good to know I have a safety net.
Do you think I should leave? You said the others are suspicious. That I am not wanted in Deutschland nor here.
Where the hell are you gonna go?
I've heard South America is welcoming to...
No, it's awful. My experience. No. In fact, leaving would be just another reason to instill those worries in their head. You and I will waltz in the place together like we own it.
So you want me to stay?
Well, of course. I need someone I can rely on.
Good. I will rely on you as well. And this whole time, she's finally got the dress on, and still standing just as awkwardly close.
I like it. It is, flattering, to say the least. Take it off. We got like 3 others. 4, 5, 10.
How long would you want me to take it off for?
He will smirk and shake his head. A bit of color flush to his cheeks, and he will turn around to nervously go fidget with more dresses.
Okay.
It is at this moment that anyone that cares to notice is that Estelle has left the shop. It is empty at this point, and I will give Greta 10 more seconds before we cut from the scene.
Well, she's gonna see Elijah turn around and take the dress off. You asked on the phone if I was going to come, if I was coming on to you, and I said perhaps later. I believe this is later. Unless you prefer an even more extended date than I would. This kind of work is very dangerous.
You know better than anybody. In fact, you're one of 2, 3 people that do know why exactly I cannot do that. Now or ever.
It's worth an offer.
And with that, we pull out of the small boutique as 2 Olympians stare at one another with eyes of similar desire, but hearts not quite in line, as we go back to the cemetery for a few final moments between Kate and Elijah.
Katie, I don't think this is simple as we thought it was. I don't think I'm gonna be able to run back home with my tail between my legs. The Gadoosh bags aside, the Dietrichs aside, all of that. There's something bigger going on, connecting all of us. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
Kate, she kind of snaps to look straight at you. And she's probably not able to hide that she's a little bit unnerved by what you just said.
He is too.
Well, I'm not sure I do know what you're talking about, Mr. Sawyer.
The purple, you never heard nothing. You never felt a connection between us, the Olympians. Like something bigger's going on here.
Mr. Sawyer, we're saving the world. That's been what this has been about from the very beginning. Are you just figuring this out?
No, yes, no. The captain wants a picture on the front of the paper every day. She wants to be a big hero, save everybody.
Now, God, that... Yeah, that's fair, I suppose. That might have been me. Might have been. But look, Elijah, if you ever had to make a choice between the life of the person that you loved and saving the world, what choice would you make?
What kind of question's that? It should be obvious. And if it's
Is it?
true love, you're supposed to do anything for the person you love, even if you don't want to.
So you'd let the world burn to save the life of your true love?
If I had one, I suppose, yes. The world, the Olympians, America, Germany, whatever they need.
Well, I guess that's the difference between you and me, Mr. Sawyer, because you know what I'd do? She kind of scuffs her boot along the gravel one last time. She looks up. She says, I'd save them both.
He gets a big grin on his face. Good to know we're on the same page, then, Captain. I just wanted to impress upon you that we're on the same page. I'm glad to know you have my back.
And with that, as the two Olympians walk off into the evening of the tri-state area, the camera pans a bit up through the cemetery, and for a moment we catch on just the small rise the memorial of Franklin J. Watson. And for a moment there in the lengthening shadows of a nearby tree, there seems to be a figure, and that figure salutes. And as we go forward to the next day, to the shooting range, as a drink is pushed over again in front of Elijah Sawyer, there is just a few moments left between Dwight and Elijah.
Elijah's pacing back and forth. He takes his glasses off and throws them on the ground. Alcohol, Mr. Catholic, is sinful. It is disgusting. It is for disgusting, aggressive, violent people.
Dwight's just kind of sitting there, like, take a shot.
It takes your brains away from you. Anybody that would choose drinking over being coherent and doing what they need to do.
I'm not
Well,
asking
they
you to
took
be an
the
alcoholic, Sawyer. I'm actually taking a drink with me.
He
Just
goes
one.
over and picks up the glass and sniffs at it.
Just,
And literally gags in his mouth. Just, why?
just
Why would you
one,
get
friend. Just
object-
one. That's all it takes. All I need is
You're my
one from you.
friend. You want what's good for me, and this is not good for me.
If you're my friend, you'll take one. That's
That's
all.
emotional manipulation, you drunk asshole.
It's not. Just do one shot with me. Just let me see that you'll do something that you don't want to do.
Elijah's never taken a shot or so much of a sip of alcohol before. Do you want me to do some kind of constitution roll, Greg?
Nope.
Just one, friend. That's all. That's all I'm asking, and I'll never ask again. And I got you. Dwight kind of takes another shot.
He looks at it. 20, 30 seconds go by. He throws his head back, the shot glass up to his lips. Are you shooting me?
No, hell no. I shoot it at the target. I got you.
The liquid starts going into his mouth. You shoot. He jumps, drops the glass to the ground, spills it all over himself. He drank about half of it, and he is coughing and sputtering all over himself.
Dwight Kalas. Okay, I'll take it.
Why? Why? Tell me why someone would do that. Why would anyone ever want that?
Why wouldn't they?
Because they have the mental fortitude and constitution to actually be a man, do the things they need to do without that crutch.
Sorry, one day I'll tell you a lot more about me. Today's not that day. But let me tell you something. We're gonna run through this shit. Anything gets in our way, it's gonna be done. I'm gonna fucking finish it. You know, Dwight is shit-faced now. He's actually like relying on Sawyer to get him home. He kind of, once he takes a shot, he kind of like fucking, it's done. We're gonna fuck shit up. We're gonna finish this. But I need your help, man. I need everyone's help. I need to rely on you people. Because this shit is just fucked up. It's all wrong.
He takes a step forward and throws the shot glass downrange, fury in his eyes. There's a crunch of glass.
Can Dwight shoot at the shot glass that he throws? Cheech?
There's a crunch of glass as he steps on his glasses and looks down at them. He jumps again as the grand goes off.
Yes, and as the internet is trying to
Listen.
ruin the end of this,
Just give me the fuck back. Yeah. Fuck the internet, Sawyer. Fuck the future. Fuck the future.
I fucking
Okay.
hate the future.
I fucking hate it.
okay, so with that shot, as the shot glass goes off and Dwight turns and fires and nods his approval to one Elijah Sawyer, we go for our last few minutes as the hands of...
Sawyer would just like to say as it does fade away, I wanted to impress upon you, soldier boy, that we're on the same side, so don't expect me to do that again, but I'm happy to know we're on the same page.
Dwight just gives him the... he's fucked up. Dwight's like, just get me home, dude.
And with that, as we pull away from the makeshift firing range and we go back to the Green Garden, back to the table, back to where the eyes of the Bonanno crime family are watching the exchange between Sabella Ives and Elijah Sawyer, a man they know as Daryl Lecht, as for the first time, fingers meet flesh.
As Sabella grasps Elijah's hand, she leans in real close, a little bit of the expensive wine coming off her breath, and she says, you know, people like to use me so that they can be seen, because I think that's all that we most desperately want, is to be seen and understood, Elijah. And I will do that for you. And she grabs his hand. No one can do that for me.
What
Elijah's
does
not
she see?
contesting this at all, as far as mechanics are concerned.
What does she see?
Oh man, I don't know. First off, let's paint the skyline. Again, those skyscrapers you mentioned the last time he was dining here, actually. You don't see any ocean anywhere nearby, not the Louisiana Gulf of Mexico, not the New York skyline, but there is dancing, if I recall, 2 figures standing on a rooftop. Elijah and a woman you haven't seen before. Her arms around his shoulders, his hands are on her waist. They sway back and forth. Greg, do you want to do your voice? Do you remember which voice she had or what she said?
Yeah. This is lovely, Elijah, but... And she pulls away for a moment, and in a vision that was revealed briefly by the Vatican, and that Greta was also witness to, this woman pulls back, locks eyes with Elijah Sawyer, and says, "But where's the money coming from?"
With that, it's going to cut away probably to, I would imagine, a much younger Elijah Sawyer. He couldn't be any older than 17, 18. He has an apron on, and he is taking groceries and putting them in paper bags. For one, Phil Castillo. He's looking quite a bit younger now, too, but yeah, he's probably still a few years older than Elijah.
What the fuck are you doing here, Phil? Oh, what the fuck are you doing here, Elijah? What the fuck are you doing here, Daryl? That's your name. What the fuck are you doing here, Daryl? I mean, you packing these bags? You can't provide for your girl like this. You can't, what are you gonna do? You gonna be a bag boy all your life? I mean, come on, man. You can't do that. You gotta step up. You gotta be a man.
Drops the groceries on the floor in full view of his manager and gets eye to eye with Phil. Providing, girl, who fucking told you?
Oh, come on, man. You got it written all over your face. Daryl, come on. This is my job. You want to be like me, right? Somebody nobody fucks with. Somebody that fucks with everybody. You provide for that girl, right? You don't want nothing to happen to that girl, right? You want her to be taken care of.
Elijah realizes he's holding Phil by his shirt and looks over at his boss and kind of lets go and takes a step back.
Now, you see, that's why I fucking want this guy. You see that? You ain't supposed to be a fucking bag boy, Daryl. Nah. You see that? A bag boy doesn't grab me. A bag boy be too scared to do that. No. You and me, we're the same, Daryl. You and me, we could be somebody.
He takes the apron off over his head, tosses it onto the floor, gives him a nod. The scene fades away again. I think I recall Hibernia Bank being the building. There's the sound of shattering glass. I don't know how much of these visions you actually experience, but rushing wind all over you. Elijah, looking as you know him now, plunging out of the windows of the top floor. His parachute activating at the last moment, a flaming silhouette of a man standing in the window behind him. As he crashes into a lake at a nearby park across the street. He climbs out, looking like a drenched rat, trying to unclick these parachute things around him. There was, if I recall, one Jack Kilgrave standing there. Greg?
Well, interesting night, Mr. Sawyer.
I don't often. I'm sorry, have we met?
No, I wouldn't believe we have, but I believe I can offer you something that you'll be soon needing.
Yeah, there's nothing I want or need for a friend. As soon as I can figure out how the hell to get this contraption off, I am a ghost. I've never been here.
Well, let me help you there. Perhaps when we talk a bit, maybe you can help that girl of yours. See, your country needs you, Mr. Sawyer. Your girl needs you to help us.
There's a flare in Elijah's eyes, and once again he's grabbing onto lapels. Who the fuck are you?
Well, I'm Jack.
Elijah will try to, if he can, sitting at this table, envision any of the terrible things him and Phil have gone through together. I don't know if any of that gets fed over to Sabella.
What Sabella would see is she would see from the eyes of Elijah Sawyer / Daryl Lecht, she would see Phil as Phil is roasting a teenage boy alive, burning him from the feet up to the waist, to the chest, the boy alive the entire time until it reaches right around the chest area and he finally expires from the injuries. And the entire time, Phil is paying him no mind as he's talking to Daryl. You see, Daryl, fucking guys like this, they end up like this. Why? Because they don't got the fucking balls. They don't got the choice that we do. You're screaming. Going out screaming, Daryl. Come on. That's not for us.
This isn't like the other jobs, Phil. No one got hurt.
Everybody gets hurt. You just don't fucking see it, Daryl. Because I'm burning this motherfucker alive in front of you and you see it and you say someone gets hurt. Where do you think the fucking money's coming from, Daryl? Huh? We're not stealing it out of the collection plate at the fucking church. Taking it from Father James. Fucking no. We're taking it from people and that money kills them just as much as this fucking fire. Don't fool yourself. Don't fool your girl. You knew what you were getting into with me.
Acceptable casualties, then.
Acceptable casualties.
The visions will stop. Come back to the restaurant. How much does Elijah know what she sees? Does he?
Elijah wouldn't feel any of it. He would just feel her touch, and it's not like the Vatican that you're living it. This is just Sabella learning it.
His hands still outstretched. He's not sure how this works. He's waiting. The look of that scared teenage boy on his face, more so than the suave man he likes to act like around you.
And Sabella, you would get that fingerprint of turpentine that you've come to realize is the end of whatever reading you're going to glean.
Thank you. Elijah?
Is that it?
Yeah, I think maybe that's how all of us turn out.
He'll stretch his hand out and grab her arm, this time looking up at her, his face betraying none of the emotion, but his eyes turning a little bit red and glassy. Sabella, I just want to go home.
I'll help you if I can.
He sits back and kind of covers his eyes a bit and smiles. Good. I wanted to know I had a safety net. I wanted to know we're on the same page.
And the camera pulls back from the green garden, back from the table, back from the hands and the flesh that was recently pressed. And we flash forward to the following day, a day that we have not yet visited, a day past these 48. and it is a morning in the Ives Esoteric and Antiquarian Bookstore, the last morning that all of the Olympians will be alive. And as this day begins, their last day, there's an explosion at the front of the building as a figure crashes in through the front door. Phil Castillo grabs at his chest, blood spurting out of a wound, his body naked, flames erupting around the arms and legs as he struggles to concentrate, as he struggles to keep himself together. He runs in and he only has time to say one thing. Sabella! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we will end tonight's episode of Project Athena. I'm a little choked up.
I'm
Okay.
enjoying chat literally exploding.
Right. I'm
There's
a little choked up here, so I'm not gonna. My hats off to Strider for running this whole episode and jumping from scene to scene to scene and talking for 2 hours. My man. Let's go around and do what we do. Allison.
I all I've got is thank you, I think. God, thank you all. Wow. You can find me on Twitter at Allison Robinson with 2 L's and a Y. Catch me on God's Fall and Wander Quest, 2 great podcasts, and I hope to see you back here next Sunday for our season finale. Love you all.
And I will not say anything snarky, as I will say only this. I am sorry, Lauren.
Fuck you, Greg! Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't on mute. How silly of me. I'm Lauren. I'm That Salty Ginger on Twitter. I cry a lot. Hi, nice to meet you. You can't see me tomorrow because we're off over on Encounter Roleplay. You'll see me here next week for the finale, where I fuck Greg's shit up. Or die trying. See you then.
Sounds great. Steve, Dwight, how are you doing tonight, bud?
Yeah, I'm new to this, and I've over the past 8-9 months, whatever, I've watched a lot of. I've been like surfing and watching people, lurking, whatever they call it, and this story to me, just if I wasn't even involved in this, I watch people and I just love, like watching Lauren, like literally, I almost cried watching Lauren. Hey, really, like literally 5 minutes ago, I was like, oh, I was getting emotional for her. I love being a part of this. I think this is something special. I don't even know how to explain it, but I love being with these people. I love playing, and I just think we're doing something great. And I wish more people would, I wish more people could take me out of it. I wish we could watch what we're doing, because I love what we're doing and how we're doing it. So, thank you. Great job, Strider. Awesome. I mean, just amazing. Amazing to ever.
And as we did the intros, so shall we do the outros as I jump over to Lindy. Lindy, Greta, she had her chance, but it seems the heart of Elijah Sawyer lies elsewhere.
It's okay. I visualized the very, very end of that scene is them leaving with the shopping bags, and she just turns to me and says, "You ever change your mind, let me know," and then just gets in the car and they both drive to the bookstore. Don't tell me it's the last. And then, wow, that was something. Just, wow. Yeah, Greta finally has a friend. Oh my gosh, I never thought I'd see the day. But yeah, I'll have to get with Lauren about what else happens during that 48 hours personally on the Twitters. But yeah, that was amazing. I can't wait for next week, and at the same time, I can definitely wait for next week because you said some ominous things, Craig, and it's fine. It's fine. You can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on Twitch and Twitter. Let's just go through the week, shall we? Because that's way more entertaining. Well, I'd say entertaining, no. That's way more happy than what happens at the very end of this episode. Sundays here every evening for the wonderful, horrible, sad, emotion, happy train roller coaster that goes on every week. Sunday afternoons, RPGN on WebDM channel. It's really great. We recap all the stuff that happened in the past week in clips. Tuesdays, Tom's Entertainment Douglas podcast with Greg. It's really cool. Tuesday evening, my show on Twitch, Out of the Abyss. Wednesdays, all day Encounter Roleplay. Afternoon, also with Greg. Doors to Darkness on Encounter Roleplay's channel. Then 3 hours later, Star Wars with the wonderful Strider, who DMs it. Also Encounter Roleplay. Rise of the Dark Side. Thursdays, WebDM. Land Between Two Rivers. I play a part. It's cool. Fridays, also here on this channel with the fantastic Greg. He DMs the Firefly RPG, and it's super cool and awesome. We're going to get to see some really cool stuff soon. And then every other Saturday on Power Square RPG. And that's it.
Awesome. And the man of the hour, or the last two, or the man of the 48 hours, back in 1933, Strider, Elijah, every dog has his day.
Oh man, I can only say I'm super duper appreciative of you giving me enough free reign to do what I wanted to do, and trusting me enough to have control in there. How much Elijah's letting his walls down, though, is still a mystery. How much are you seeing, and how much of that does he want you to be seeing? So I suppose only time will tell, which means come check us out next week. We'll be here with the finale, and I'm certainly not going anywhere. Elijah's not, and I'm gonna see to it that he survives this, because I like him. And fuck Phil, he can bleed out. Phil can bleed out on the counter. I don't care. So hey, I appreciate it. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Olympians, everyone here.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. And I know we can find you over on the dark side on Counter Roleplay, DMing the shit out of that stuff every Wednesday night. As for me, I'm not going to say much. Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. We do have Firefly the RPG here on Friday afternoons from 2 to 4. We have Conan starting next month, which is a West Marches style and a cast of 10. So that will begin next month. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Olympians of all ages, you see why we do this. This is a labor of love and could not be possible without the 150% commitment of every player you see here, making sure that not only are they telling a tale that they like, they are weaving a legend that they love. And I love them for it. I appreciate them for it. And as I have always said, I am here in the best seat in the house with you guys in chat who are absolutely fantastic people. You are cheering us on in 1933 and 2018. And it means so much. And again, thanks to Strider for absolutely brainchilding this whole episode, because as this episode is entitled Eat, Drink, and Be Merry, the season finale is entitled For Tomorrow We Die. And that is where we will leave the Olympians for now, but in 7 days we will go back to 1933 to see how all of this plays out. Until then, we are going to go over to DM Shane at the Greyhawk channel. He's doing a little D&D action. And send some love our way, and hopefully he'll cheer you up a little bit. Shane's a great guy, and he can fire you back up as we have cut you back down. But until then, Just remember that we're here waiting for you guys in 1933. Next week, we're going to need you. They're going to need you. I'm with you all. Love you, and see you then.